If we draw, I'm sure we all know the experience of finishing a drawing and we look at it and we think, yeah, that's good, but there's one or two areas that I haven't quite captured as well as the others. There's always these weak subjects or techniques that I feel attract unwanted attention because they're not as strong as the rest of the drawing. If that's you, then I hope this video will help you as it explores how to practice our drawing in a way which will accelerate our improvement. If you're like me, you're impatient to get better. And this video contains the basic principles that, in my experience, help me to accelerate my improvement in drawing. And I'm sure they'll be a help for you as well. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. Let's start. But don't we practice when we just draw? Isn't it really the same thing? Yes, of course. But when I do a drawing, I'm probably choosing a subject and a technique I'm already reasonably accomplished in. And that's part of the reason I want to draw this subject in this way, where there's not as much room for improvement as I would have in subjects and techniques where I don't feel my skill level is as strong. There is much more room for improvement in practicing just those areas. And my advice is that we should focus our practice into those areas, into those subjects, and into those techniques, where for the time we put into actually drawing, we get the maximum improvement of our skills. So that when we do, if you like, a whole drawing, rather than just practicing parts of it, all the elements and all the techniques that we use in that drawing are all consistently strong as each other. That no part of the drawing draws attention because it's like an out of tune note in a song. It's just not quite right. So now let me explain some of the ways I've learnt to practice my art to maximize my learning curve for time spent practicing. And it's all to do with deliberate focusing. Let me explain how. The first thing I need to focus on is, what do I want to improve on through my practicing? I need to be focused on that area. I was drawing architectural subjects, streets and streetscapes, but I hated drawing cars and people because I just wasn't that interested in drawing them. But all of my streetscapes ended up looking like a zombie apocalypse had come. And I wanted to capture the real life context of my architecture. So I had to practice cars and people, the very subjects I really wanted to avoid. But I wasn't practicing drawing detailed studies of figures and cars. Instead, I practiced how I needed to draw them in my drawings as subjects on my streets with the same scale and detail that I would need for them to have there. Or I might want to focus not so much on subjects but on certain skills, certain techniques, certain technical abilities such as cross-hatching or straight lines or varying the weight of my lines. Or it might be a more theoretical concept I need to practice such as perspective. Or I might want to combine some subject areas and some technical skills in my practice. But I need to be focused on the things that are currently weak areas in my drawings so that the time I put into practice will give me maximum benefit at the other end. And wouldn't it be great if our drawing were all this fast, eh? Secondly, we need to focus on when we practice. Think of learning a musical instrument. How do people learn the piano? It's not by doing 5 hours practice once a month or even by doing an hour's practice once a week, but a smaller daily amount, because this is a better way to learn. It gets us better results, and that's even if the total time spent drawing or doing the activity is the same. Short, frequent practice sessions are the way to go. So why not aim for 15 to 30 minute sessions 3 times a week or 10 minutes every day? The best schedule is the one that you can work into your other commitments and be consistent at. But smaller amounts of time more frequently is the principle to aim for. And because we're not attempting to do the full drawing but just smaller elements, we can use a shorter time frame very effectively when we're just practicing different elements. Thirdly, we need to focus on how we practice. The general principle is that we get better at whatever we practice, whatever we do over and over again. So the more focused I am on what I want to improve on, the better the result of the time I put into practice is going to be. And if I know my drawing style and my drawing subjects well, then I can focus better on how I need to draw certain subjects for my drawings in the way I practice them. As I said in the last point, while I needed to practice figures, I didn't need to be able to draw close-up life drawing studies of people in all sorts of poses, but I did need to be able to draw them to look real from a range of distances from just a few meters in the streetscape to possibly a few hundred meters from the viewer. And I needed a different approach of drawing them according to how far they were from the viewer. And if I have a problem, say, with domes, then I need to practice at drawing domes. I need to work at getting the curves of the silhouette, the sides, round and symmetrical on both sides. But perhaps I also need to vary the perspective so that when I view the domes from straight side on or from ground level looking up or looking down from a higher spot, I can draw them accurately. I need to focus on exactly where I am weak. And if I want to work on my confidence with my line work, there's nothing better than switching from pencil to ink. Since I can't erase anything, I need to just jump in and give it my best. Being hesitant is really counterproductive to learning. And if I'm using color, then I can focus on being bold in contrast or bright in color, but on a small scale. So the time commitment, if I make a mistake, isn't very large. I actually started art not drawing, but doing large oil paintings of Australian trees and flowers. And when I say large, I mean 1.5 meters by 1 meter. And while I enjoyed these large paintings, I often got discouraged halfway through and felt they were going nowhere and were taking forever, and I wasn't sure if they were going to turn out. And I became quite timid in lots of ways because I'd invested so much time to get it to a certain stage that then I was afraid of spoiling it. But what I learned was that by painting a lot of very small paintings, I could be really bold and experiment with color and tone and edge and lots of other qualities of oil paint. Because the paintings were so small and didn't take nearly as long, if I didn't like the effect, I could quickly paint over it and use the canvas again. I learned a lot more very quickly doing a lot of very small paintings. So why not give it a go? Set aside some regular time. It doesn't have to be much, but the more frequent the better. And whatever you like to draw, however you like to do it, whatever media you use, practice those areas that you're aware of are the weakest elements of your drawings and give focused, concentrated time to really working on those in as specific a way as possible. And see if it doesn't really improve the overall quality of your drawing surprisingly quickly. Then when you do put a larger time into a larger work of art, the result will be much better. If you're looking for things to draw, I've posted photos that I've taken on my YouTube community page, and you're free to copy them off and to use them if you want. But whatever you do, have fun. I hope these ideas have been helpful and help you use your time best for your art. Bye.